Welcome back, everybody. Today, Christine and I are going to do a review of a documentary on Amazon Prime called Beyond Weight Loss. This documentary, it was all about weight loss and diet and nutrition, and the thing that was really cool about it is that it was recommended to me by a biology professor who said, hey, this is a really interesting counter-argument to intermittent fasting. And
specifically?
Specifically. Okay. And I have so many people that are like fools about intermittent fasting, and I have not done it successfully, that I thought, hey, maybe I should see what this video is about to see if there's anything that might help me better, since intermittent fasting didn't work for me. We all know how confusing diet and weight loss and nutrition are, because the studies are very hard to do effectively because there's so many variables going on. Every person's body is different. Various micronutrient and elements, calories and macros that they need to get are just so different from person to person that I just don't trust a whole lot of the science that's out there.
Nutrition is so complicated.
Yeah.
It is a very, very complex topic, and people say things like they're in a vacuum, like it didn't impact something else in that person's life, and you just can't do that. Like if you say, if you eat an apple before every meal. Have you heard that one?
Yeah.
If you eat an apple before every meal, you'll lose blah, 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 or whatever. But the reason, is it because they ate an apple, or is it because they're already full from like fiber and nutrients? So they eat less and they're eating more healthy things instead of donuts. Like, I don't know. It's just too many variables.
Because the one thing always affects the other things.
Yes.
No matter what you do.
Exactly.
Okay, so just from a high level perspective, overview of the documentary, what did you think?
I thought the first third was super interesting. They broke down the lies on food labels, which I thought was really, it wasn't eye-opening for me because I already know this stuff, but I think a lot of people just blindly believe nutrition labels. They throw around all these words that have no regulation whatsoever. They just put it on there as a marketing ploy. And they're allowed to be like 25% wrong in either direction on the nutrition label. That is a huge span of numbers that you can like be wrong on. So I like that they brought attention to that. I liked their science-based approach to eating more meals more often.
Yes.
I thought that was great. And I did think, I feel like all these people are a little biased. They did try to push exercises that you like.
I really liked the nutrition side. I love that they were trying to do sustainable diets. Not one that you do for a set period of time, but one that you, like, this is a new habit of eating for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I would say don't use the word diet. Like, to you and me, it doesn't have a negative connotation, but to most people it does.
They didn't even like the word diet in the documentary.
No, they didn't. But
I'm just pointing it out because it's a common
way of eating.
It's a common vocabulary. It's a sustainable way of eating that I thought was different from most other videos. They were just trying to say, hey, like, these are some good ways to have a sustainable diet that is healthy. Now, that being said, knowing who the documentary is from and the biases that come from the people that are in the documentary is really important. And this is where this documentary breaks down for me.
Well, any documentary that you're gonna watch, the person making it has a bias.
Okay, so we're gonna go person by person of the guest speakers they had in this documentary.
Okay.
And you kind of give me your thoughts.
Okay.
Because okay, I know what you're gonna say. Keith Klein. Father of eating management, certified clinical nutritionist.
Typically, a nutritionist is basically an online class and a test.
He's a CCN.
Okay, that's
certified clinical nutritionist, which I think is just the test.
I thought he was super interesting, actually.
I did too.
I thought he brought a lot of science and not a lot of bias into it.
Yeah, this guy's absolutely a practitioner, has lots of experience. I didn't feel like he was just talking out of his butt. Like, some of the other people were in this documentary.
No, he had some good information that he shared.
Yeah.
He wasn't highly charismatic.
No, but he also was really good at teaching some of the things that he knows are really misleading for most of his patients. He has these really great tips, right? Tip number 1 was eat good foods, not processed. This was very similar to Michael Pollan.
It's the same, yeah.
Very same thing. What was his saying? Eat real foods.
Eat real food, mostly plants, not too much.
There you go.
It's the KISS method.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
When he was talking about all of the nutrition stuff, I felt like his nutrition testimonies on the documentary were actually really well put together. He was a good teacher.
So the label you're looking at right now is a package of Jennie-O, 93% lean, 7% fat, ground turkey. That is the label that is on the package, 93% lean. Okay. So you would assume by this label that the amount of calories that you're eating is 7% fat because it says so on the label. But if you go down into the back and they break down the macronutrients for you, it does not give you that information, because a standard measurement that, if you don't know already, the number of calories per gram in carbohydrates and protein are the same. It's 4 calories per gram. Fat is 9. It is more than double. So fat is 9 calories per gram. So if you look at the total fat right here that's been circled, 8 grams in one serving, which is, I think, 4 ounces. 8 grams, which over here on the right, times 9 calories per gram, because that's what fat is, equals 72 calories. Well, it says, circled in red, 160 calories per serving. Well, 72 calories divided into 160 calories per serving is actually 45% fat, not 7, like the package states.
Totally misleading.
Completely misleading. He stated that the only one, like if you really are watching your fat content, that the ground turkey breast, you have to look for the word breast. 99% lean is the one that you want. But even then, it says 99% lean and 1% fat. It's actually about 9% fat.
Yeah. He has it as tip number 2 in here. But getting the correct combination of protein, carbs, and veggies. And how when you get protein with your protein and veggies with your carbs, it slows down that glycemic index of the carbs, and it actually helps your body to absorb those nutrients better. Slower. Yeah.
If you pour milk, which is high fat and higher protein, onto your Raisin Bran, it changes that. Like, nobody just chomps Raisin Bran out of the box with nothing else. You put it in milk and you eat it with a spoon. And because you're adding protein and fats, the glycemic index is actually not what it says on the chart, because you don't eat Raisin Bran by itself. You eat it in a combination with other foods. That's why eating rice is not bad when you're eating it with other stuff. Like, you're just not eating white rice by itself, handfuls of white rice.
Right. This has been really good for me. I've been trying to do this for the last 4 weeks, right? 4 weeks, I think we're on this. I've lost 3 or 4 pounds in those 4 weeks, and I'm trying to always get protein, carbs, and veggies in almost every meal. But I was doing 2 eggs, onions, and what other veggies I could find with cottage cheese.
Yeah.
As my little egg omelet.
We still have cottage cheese?
We do. It was good.
You should finish that.
It was totally good. The next one was eat 5 to 6 meals a day every 3 to 4 hours is what I kind of changed that a little bit. I've also been doing this really well. I can't even say how much better I feel when I do this, because I know I don't ever have to starve myself.
Can I just say, I hate feeling hungry. I hate it. It makes me crazy in my head.
Tip number 4, eat the correct amount of food per meal. I think this was trying to go to the point of, I don't need to be eating 600-700 calories a meal.
Well, not if you're eating 6 times a day, you don't.
He was saying that generally speaking, your body can't absorb much more than, what did he say, 400 to 500 calories?
Depends on the person, but he said anywhere from 300 to 6 would be very high. 600 calories effectively in the form of building muscle, replenishing things. Anything extra is stored away as fat. You eliminate that binge, right? Where you go so long and then you're over hungry, so you're like a crazy person who is shoving whatever they can find in their face because they just can't control it anymore. No, I'm not saying I've ever done that.
Tip number 4A was keep your fat to 20% or under per meal.
You're gonna trigger all the keto lovers.
I know on that, but that's what they said. I've been following it, and man, I've been feeling a lot better.
Here's the thing. Bodybuilders, they eat a high protein, low fat, moderate carb diet.
Especially when they're cutting.
When they're cutting, that's what they do. They cut fat before they cut anything else.
There's been studies out there that have shown that when you eat a lot of high fat, high sugar together, your body never feels full. You can continue to binge that stuff all the time. That's why cookies are so good.
That is why cookies are
delicious. Because you can keep eating them and you don't ever feel full.
I'm telling you what, those peanut butter M&Ms, I mean, who can eat an entire Sam's Club box in one sitting? I mean, raise your hand, right?
So tip number 5 has been a lot of fun. I've been trying to do this one really well. This is cook and carry your meal.
It's 2 things in one. Number 1, make it yourself. And number 2, always have food with you.
And so they're just trying to say, avoid whatever habits or temptations you're going to have wherever you're going to be. If you always have a meal ready to go, you know that's what you're going to eat. Okay, last tip. Tip number 6 was drink plenty of water. And they had this formula. They had, what is it? Consume half your body weight in ounces
every day.
Per day.
This cup is 32 ounces.
So they're saying a basic person that weighs 120 pounds should be drinking 2 of these a day. That's very little.
And I drink about 5 every single day. So I drink over a gallon of water every day, normally.
And I have a big old bladder buster.
It's like 64 ounces.
64 ounces. And I drink that while I'm at work. Not to mention my water bottle at the gym in the morning, and then usually two of those at night.
So you're up about where I'm at.
And if you live in higher elevations, that number is actually supposed to be higher than what that number says.
Maybe that's why. Like, we live really high.
We're at 5,000 feet.
It's really, really dry. When I wake up in the morning, I am so thirsty.
Yeah, for sure. The last thing I want to talk about is the effect that he explained really well about yo-yo dieting, and how every time you yo-yo diet, you go into some new diet weight loss program, you lose muscle mass with fat. And then when you get done with that, the first thing you put back on is what?
Fat.
Fat.
But not muscle.
So overall, after multiple years of dieting like this,
yo-yo dieting,
what's your body composition look like after 5 or 6 years?
Way more body fat than you had at the beginning, because every time you lose weight, in the way that people typically do it, which is cut food but don't work out, okay, you're gonna lose body fat and muscle at the same time. But when you put the weight back on, you don't put on any muscle. So each time you cycle through this, you have less muscle mass and less muscle mass and less muscle mass. But if you get back up to the same weight that you were before, your body fat percentage is actually higher than when you were at the beginning.
Yeah. Their diagrams, the way they taught it in the documentary, I thought was actually really well done.
Very good information.
Yeah. Let's talk about Dr. Roxanne Edrington.
Okay, so since she has a doctorate in chiropractic clinical nutrition, that is crazy. I don't even know how that breaks down exactly.
Okay, she is a doctor in chiropractic medicine and a CCN.
Oh, they're missing a comma. Yeah, that's impressive. That's a lot of education. I'm also impressed that she's a bodybuilder. She's done American Ninja Warrior. These things are very difficult to do. Like, you have to be so dialed into your body.
But this is the beginning of the bias that's behind this whole documentary, is that she's a bodybuilder.
She's a bodybuilder.
And many of the people that you're gonna hear talk in this documentary are as well. Larry North. He's the fitness pioneer and icon. He has tons of infomercials in the 90s. His background really is fitness and bodybuilding.
Okay, Larry North Fitness, owns a couple gyms.
He didn't add a whole lot to me for this video. In fact, the more he kind of talked, the more I felt like this was really biased information and not well researched, because this guy does not have research or science behind his demeanor, his vocabulary.
He just has personal experience. If they had taken him out of the documentary, I would have missed anything.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do Kurt Osborne. Guinness World Record holder, 2-time world record holder, it says. Wheelied over 2,900 miles. He's an extreme fitness athlete. Do you notice how that says a lot without saying anything?
Yeah.
That hides who this guy is.
So what it says to me is he's clearly single.
You look at this picture and you're like, this guy's a tool. Wait till you actually see the documentary. It's worse when he starts talking.
Well, it was about halfway through when he spouted a few things that I was like, they put this in here? You just lost me. It was about this point when they brought him in. They were trying to prove that cardio was bad. That was their point. Cardio is bad.
I don't think they were trying to do that. I think they were trying to say too much cardio is bad.
Yeah, but in their opinion, anything more than 20 minutes is bad.
I know, and that's where it was biased.
And it wasn't just from him. Many of them said that, but they used his testimony of like,
I was cycling 10 hours a day.
This is so dumb. I was cycling 10 hours a day, and I was like, dude, what the crap? The Tour de France guys don't cycle that much. I'm thinking cycling, okay? And he was like, I was eating 3,000 calories a day, and I dropped 30 pounds of muscle. And the things that jumped out at me was like, okay, first of all, if you don't want to lose your muscle, you need to eat more. Like, I'm not a big girl and I don't cycle 10 hours a day, and I've frequently eaten 3,000 calories a day. That is nothing for someone that works out 10 hours a day.
So when it came to the exercise portion of the documentary period, they were so fearful of talking about cardio and long sustained cardio that they defaulted heavier towards weightlifting and bodybuilding.
I would say more bodybuilding style because that's what they do.
Yeah, that's what these guys' background is.
Mm-hmm. And listen, I like weightlifting.
I do too.
I'm not going to bash weightlifting.
No.
I'm also not going to bash cardio because that's not what it is to me. Cardio is not cardio for the sake of cardio to me.
Well, runners and cyclists have similar frames. CrossFit athletes have similar frames because that kind of exercise builds that kind of body type.
Correct.
Generally speaking, that's not always the case.
Yes.
But to have this guy say, I worked out 10 hours a day and I lost all this weight. Like, duh, that's what happens when you're a cyclist.
Yeah, eat more.
Nobody on the Tour de France looks like any of the guys in this video. The next guy they had was Mike Ryan, who's a celebrity trainer.
I've heard of this guy before. I think he knows his crap. Like, he is super intelligent, knows all the nuances of training and nutrition. And listen, you are not going to be a celebrity trainer if you don't prove results.
Yeah, this guy's been around the block. He's 50 years old, 50 something years old, looks amazing.
He does look amazing.
But he looks this way, the same way as bodybuilders. He is not a cyclist. He's not a cardio guy.
Yeah, a cyclist is not going to look like that.
He's not an ultra marathoner, right? He's not a triathlete. He's not an Ironman.
Something that I didn't see them mention, if someone likes to run, there's nothing wrong with that. People that do triathlons do them because they like them. They like the challenge. And people that are ultra runners, same story. They do ultra running because they like it. And if that's their form of exercise that gets them to do anything.
You and I had this discussion when Biggest Loser was on.
Yep.
I hated Biggest Loser because all they did was beat the crap out of people in a gym for 6 hours a day and they lost weight. But when they got off their ranch or whatever, it wasn't sustainable.
Well, this is so extreme.
Sustainable usually comes from finding activities that you like to do. We like to cycle, we like to run, we like to go to the gym. What these guys don't cover enough of in these documentaries are find the activities that are best for you.
Yeah. And that's going to look different to everybody.
That's what true sustainable fitness, lifetime fitness is about. The B-roll footage in this documentary was awful.
It was stock footage.
It was stock footage. They had people doing exercises that knew not how to do the exercise even close to correct form.
It was the recumbent bike in the gym, the girl on the recumbent bike, and her seat is so far up, her leg is bent like this the whole time. I was like, she doesn't ride a bike.
I don't mean to be a snob, but if you're going to show video of people doing exercises, at least show them how to do them right.
In an exercise documentary, show the right way to sit on the bike.
That was blatant disrespect for, if you're going to talk about exercise, make sure you know how to show people how to do it
good
right.
grief.
And I appreciate that they were trying to get like amateur, like people that aren't bodybuilders in the gym, but at least find people that know how to do them right. But I do wish they would talk about habits a little bit more clearly and what we know about habit, because there's just too much information out there to not use habits and exercise and eating all together in one conversation. Mm-hmm. So there you have it. I think it's a good documentary to watch. I don't think everything in there is believable, but there hasn't been
a cycling guy.
There hasn't been one documentary we've watched on nutrition, whether it's Super Size Me or
well, I don't know if that's nutrition.
Well, I mean, just it's all.
Yeah, Fathead. Did you see that one?
Fathead, Fed Up. I haven't watched any one of those documentaries and believe that they have great truth throughout with it's completely unbiased. This is no different. I will say this was much lower budget.
Yeah, it was pretty low budget.
Very low budget documentary, but I would say if you could get through the first half of it, you get most of what's most important of this documentary. So,
I would say that's where the good information is.
Yeah, but if you guys get a chance to check it out, Beyond Weight Loss, available on Amazon Prime. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you think we don't know what we're talking about, let us know in the comments down below.
Oh, they will anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If we triggered you, we're sorry. It was just meant to be a discussion.
You should let us know that in the comments also.
The one thing I will say no matter what is, I don't care if you don't believe us or not, but at least learn and make an informed decision for yourself.
And talk to your doctor before you attempt any type of weight loss situation.
For sure. All right, thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you next time.